We're here to serve you nothing but good vibes only. You're hanging out with Kwambox Mbunde. And of course, we got a very special guest in studio. She goes by the name of Mumbi Ndungu.
Yeah.
Hey, Mumbi.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good. Welcome to Vibes Radio.
Asante sana.
Brian, is there anything you'd like to tell the listeners right now?
Redeem Wars is ongoing pale Twitter #Vibes MVP. Redeem ya leo inaitwa Sexy Lady Redeem, na Kwambox amechagua ngoma ya Danny English inaitwa What Up Papi, na yangu ni Marshall Town by Wayne Marshall.
So Brian, what up papi? How's it going?
Tutaongea
nini?
Tutaongea Kwambox.
Wewe unajua venye jana ulinifanyisha hapa uliniebisha in front of the listeners.
Kwambox. What up?
What up, papi? It's about to be an embarrassing one for you. So keep voting. Of course, the poll is still going on. Hii kitu mazee ilikuwa noma. We already played for you the song by Shaggy that made it extra popular. But we have Danny English up against Wayne Marshall. I mean, Wayne Marshall did it, but Danny English did it. That's what I'm saying.
Najua Kwambox nimerealize sikuwa nimejivotia. No wonder ulikuwa una lead. Lakini at least saizi nimeingiza vote yangu. Just go up #Vibes MVP and vote for me.
Am I still leading?
Okay, 57% versus 43%. So yeah, we still have 34 minutes to go.
Okay.
Anything can happen.
All right, keep them tweets coming. We'll definitely announce the winner at the end. So let me start with, hey Mumbi, 2017, you were named one of the most influential young people in Kenya. What was that for? What had you done? Ulikuwa influencer? No, for real though. What had you done?
So, I would... Well, let me assume it's because of the work that we had done with Igbo Africa. For supporting social entrepreneurs in the country and highlighting stories of ordinary young Kenyans who were doing extraordinary things. And I guess someone somewhere noticed and decided to recognize our efforts.
Yeah.
By putting us on that list. So
you do it. So your modesty. Oh my God, I love it. So let's just back things up a bit.
Yes.
You're born and raised in Nairobi, are you?
Yes, I was born in Nairobi, raised partly in Mombasa, Niani, and then moved back to Nairobi. Yes.
What did you study?
In
school?
Campus? So I went to Daystar University. I studied journalism. Then I did post-grad at Strathmore on social entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And now working on doing my master's.
What is social entrepreneurship?
Social entrepreneurship basically is entrepreneurship, but focusing on impact before profit. So ideally, and I think for me, I look at it as a very African thing because a long time ago, before people, when people were doing business, first they looked at the social implications of that business before they would embark on it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just us going back to our African ways.
Yeah.
And so I feel it's quite a new concept, especially in Africa.
Yeah.
But it's picking up really well, especially in Kenya, because I think guys really like making a difference in each other's lives.
Yeah.
In a way, especially the young millennials and Generation Z.
Yeah.
They're very, very big on that. So ideally, for me, how I look at it is I feel like where we are, most of the ills that we have in our society right now is because we became very capitalist. So we forgot our roots as Africans.
Yeah, but
that's
people gotta make money.
I mean, I know.
When you talk to people getting loans from banks, when you talk about SMEs and financing for businesses, hardly are you ever hearing someone saying like, I'm taking this money so that I can go and set up a windmill so that the villagers in my community can create electricity so we don't need to pay for Kenya Power. Most people are like, mina chukue kitu mazene na kufunga M-Pesa. Familia yangu lazima ikule. So we always think about our family unit and not community comes like second last.
Second or last.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's the capitalist nature, which has perhaps been perpetrated mostly by our education system.
Yeah.
So it's go to school, study, or cram in the case of 844.
Yeah.
And then finish, get a job, get a good job somewhere, get married, get kids, then you die.
Then and you take care of your kids
yeah.
and their grandkids.
Yeah.
So you don't think about like
you don't
the
think
other
about
people.
the other people. And I feel like it's time that we all sit back and look at, again, I'll just really emphasize on the African way of doing things. And see how we used to do things as a community, we would achieve more.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do things as more people, as a team, you achieve much more.
Yeah.
And you go further. And ideally, it's the same concept for me that I really emphasize on every day. So
what does Iboa Africa do?
Yeah.
You highlight the ones who are doing this social enterprise.
Yeah, so we started Iboa Africa in I started in 2016 after I had an altercation with the local government. So when I was in my second year in campus, I used to, with a few friends, run a community-based organization.
Yeah.
So every Friday, we would leave school in Athi River, come to Tao, and then we'd help, we'd hang out with the street families, try to find out why they're on the street and what can be done to help them to get out of the street.
Yeah.
So the thing with something like that, it really progresses with word of mouth. So we'd meet like 10 street families, and then next week there'd be 20 because they went and told each other. So after the meeting, what we would do is we would give them like a meal. We'd share a meal with them so they can feel that family, that we're not here to exploit them. So in a span of a year, it grew really fast that we used to feed almost 200 people in one night.
Whoa.
And knowing most of us, even just walking past one street person, you start panicking that they're going to steal from you. So imagine having 200 in one space. So we were doing it somewhere along the Nakumat lifestyle, the former one. And most of the businesses there were not very comfortable because they were saying these guys are bringing security, much as they were ideally not. They were just there for the meeting, then they would go back to like Central Park or somewhere. But so they were not happy, so they reported us to City Council. But luckily, we anticipated that. So we had gone through the legal channels. So we had like identification to show that this is an actual registered
organization.
CBO and So, but again, you know, our country. So the guys came, they harassed us. I almost spent a night in jail. I was put in that car. Man, worst experience ever. And then they were taking us around town and telling us, you know, you guys are bringing security. You're just doing this so you can get more money from abroad, and then you're not actually going to help them.
the street kids, which is what a lot of organizations do.
Which is which I mean, it's a valid point that they had, but I feel like there was a better approach to it.
So is this what triggered you to start Iboa Africa?
Yes. So that's pretty much how Iboa Africa came. So as a journalism student, I knew the most powerful way to go about it was through media. So I tried reaching out first to a lot of like media people to try and tell them our story. But the funny thing is,
nobody cares.
Most of the people are like, who cares? I mean, everyone. It's not a story to tell. It's not a story that should be on the news. I just met one lady who was a big journalist at the time who was interested in the story. But even for her, she was like, fine, you're lucky you have access to people like me. What happens to someone in the Mashinani area who does not have access to me or Twitter or things like that? So you need to think of a long-term solution, and that's how Iboa became.
And so you decided you're going to be showing how people are using their spheres of influence and coming together to do social enterprise.
To pretty much just to create impact, and then now elevate whatever impact they were doing to become a social enterprise. Again, most people have a bad notion about social entrepreneurship. They assume it's like charity work. It's like CSR.
Is it?
Ideally, it's not.
Okay.
It just has the same basis. You actually go to business school to study social entrepreneurship. So it has the same basis. The only difference is now, because we mostly focus on profit. For now, it becomes profit versus impact. So I might be, having a manufacturing plant, but I am spoiling, the air. So how is that's affecting the community wrong? Okay. So how do I find as an alternative solution to the type of energy I'm using to actually help the community?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got Mumbi Ndungu in studio. Kama kuna swali, remember unaweza tupigia simu 0719 07221700. Kumbuka leo ni birthday ya Martin Luther. Here's Busy Signal with Free Up.
Stay with the reggae rhythm. It's the inspiration sent from the king.
Unajua pia hii ilikuwa rhythm. Shout out to Busy Signal with Free Up. And this one, of course, just celebrating Martin Luther King. And the words that we just played, he's talking about, freedom. And actual freedom reign for all people across in the world.
Yes.
I'm just asking, even till today, are we free?
My people shout free. Free, which is spice. Yeah,
Free.
you still questioning yourself if you're free or ni venye ujekwa chains, but uko na wall imekuzunguka.
A lot of people don't even understand when we ask what freedom is, because look, if you're still having financial issues, you're not free. Kama uko na sijui deni za nini na nini, hiyo ni freedom ina gani?
Ndio, ukiona call kutoka a certain letter, inaanza tu hivi letter, unaanza kuogopa.
You can't really make decisions about your own life. Lazima watu wengine wakwambia, huwezi fanya vitu hivyo. We. Are you really free?
Hapana.
Those are the questions we're asking. Remember, you're live on Morning Vybez with Kwambox Mbunde. And we got a very special guest in studio. Her name is Mumbi Ndungu. And she's here because she's the founder of Africa, which is a platform that has been set up to showcase people who are actually really, involved in social enterprise. Mumbi.
Yes.
You know the thing that really worries me about Africa? I come from western sides of the country. And you'll see some levels of poverty that will, bring tears to your eyes. And then, you're sitting there and you say, something here is not adding up. You'll find, like, maybe there's one school that's maybe taking care of, like, thousands of kids. Maybe even your parents went to that school. Your children are going to go to that school. Your great-grandchildren are going to go to that school. It still doesn't have windows. Some they are under the mugumo tree wakisoma. And that school has land. If you notice, one of the things that most African villages will have is lots of land, which is a resource. So instead of this village coming together and saying, let's, work together to put classrooms, let's build. You find maybe the fathers and mothers there, they're just chilling there in the shamba, just digging their maize kidogo kidogo. But instead of them saying, tushikane, tuweke classroom hapa. Because our watoto watasoma na watakuwa daktari wapa, watakuwa, the engineers of here. They're the ones who are going to build the roads. They're the ones who are going to pump water here. So give them that education. So you find these parents who say, serikali, tunaomba utujenge, hakuna hata classroom hapa, and they're standing right next to a heap of sand that they can actually make bricks. So what do you think about this condition that we have in Africa?
So I like the story you gave of the school. So I have one of our Igbo Africa change makers. He comes from Turkana. His name is Akai. He went through a similar thing. He actually went to school under a tree pretty much.
Yeah.
But he was so determined when he was done with his high school education and he had more information about how he can empower his community. He went back, wrote a proposal in a cyber cafe to Safaricom.
Yeah.
And told them, I need to build the school where I went. And I mean, someone from Safaricom saw the proposal and they were very, very impressed. They're like, who is this guy? They brought him over. They had a conversation with him. They actually saw he's a guy of, especially considering now, most of the time we assume that part of this country, most people just depend on aid all the time.
Yeah.
It was very refreshing to see an alternative like thinking, especially from a young person. And so he teamed up with Safaricom and they built a very beautiful school.
Wow.
In 2017. He shared with us the pictures when he opened the school. It was pretty amazing. And he inspired so many other young people from Turkana to know that they can actually, go and study. They can actually do something in their community. They don't have to wait for the governor and the president, or, the government all the time to come back and do something. So I believe everyone in their own space, and this is what I keep telling people, transformation is a commitment. So if you want to make a change, you don't have to wait when you're in that position of power, or you don't have to wait when you have 1 million shillings. Sometimes it starts with something very small, and you end up, impacting someone in a way that you can't even compare if you give them money.
Yeah.
Look at Wawera and Jiro doing food for education.
Yes, yes.
Started very small
Yeah.
with some money from when she came back from school, and look at what she's doing now.
Yeah.
Feeding almost 100,000 kids.
Meeting the queen.
You know,
I
and
mean,
doing all these cool things.
all these amazing
So,
things.
I think it's just someone to decide, because we all have issues we're not comfortable with in the spaces we're in.
Yeah. Wait, you'll be surprised. That's the thing. You see, you're saying we all have things that we're not comfortable with.
Yes.
Mumbi, I have seen people live in an estate.
Yeah.
That estate, there's so many engineers in that estate paka inaitwa engineers.
Engineer.
Unanielewa? Engineer court. Hata sitaki kusema hiyo jina ingine inaitwa sivo. Unaniget? Na ile poto lenye unaweza pata hapo ni kama valley. So a lot of us we run around, just not caring about our own environment. I've seen people pay in big estates, pay big money for garbage collection and get played.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't come sit there and say, as this estate, we produce a whole lot of garbage. Let's create our own way of, recycling and something like that. So people don't care. Even if you have the education, you're just like, the education you learned is for bettering your family. Lazima mukwe na number one. You get, and that's one of the challenges we have.
Yeah.
Remember, you can call us up 0719012700. I can't wait to hear more stories of people you've worked with.
Stay with the reggae rhythm. It's the inspiration sent from the king.
15 minutes to go to the poll kuisha Kwambox. Remember #ni Vybez MVP. We have Redeem Wars that's ongoing, and Redeem ya leo inaitwa Sexy Lady Redeem. Mimi nimedecide kuweka prowess yangu yote na Wayne Marshall hapo Marshalltown. Kwambox akadecide kuchagua Danny English, What a Puppy featuring Tia, and 15 minutes to go. Go to the #Vybez MVP and vote. Tuone kati ya Kwambox na mimi nani amechagua artist mbaya mwenye alikill hii Redeem inaitwa Sexy Lady Redeem. And in studio right now we have Mumbi Ndungu from Ibua Africa.
Yeah.
How was your parents' reaction when you decided, by the way, history za pesa hapana, wacha let's focus on building the community first, then pesa baadaye?
So at first I used to do, when I started Ibua Africa, I was actually working.
Okay.
So it was like that passion project,
Yeah.
And then I actually saw there's so much opportunity here. And that's when I decided I'm going to register the company and do all these things. And now it's like four years later, and we've done quite a lot, because we've also evolved. Besides just telling the stories, it's working with actual social entrepreneurs to help them design their businesses. That element I was talking about, where most of them don't understand that it can be a business besides the passion.
Yeah.
And also, it's grown to the point that now we are working on an impact fund, because we also realized there's not much you can do without money. Even impact needs money.
Yeah.
But also, again, like with Kwambox was saying, going to the bank and saying, by the way, I'm feeding children and I need a loan. It's very few banks would understand. I don't even think there's one that would understand.
Yeah.
It's very high risk. So for us, we thought, because we understand this market already, why don't we create an alternative way of financing these social entrepreneurs? And so last year, October 2018, we launched Igbo Impact Fund. So we've been doing a lot of research on the best ways to finance this. These people. So even for me, it's actually. So let me tell you, when I started at first, my mom was very excited because she would see me on TV all the time.
Mtoto wetu.
Lakini sasa when it's not translating to money, she does not understand.
Yes.
Hey, but you're going to all these big functions and So I had to make sure that something was adding up.
Yeah.
So as much as I was I'm doing the passion projects and going all around and talking to people, I had to make sure that there was a return on that investment. And also through Ibua Africa, I got to get my first job working with an NGO. So when I was 23, I was youngest consultant at the World Bank in Africa.
Oh, wow.
So I was working directly with the country director. particularly focusing on issues on youth and using social media as a tool for engagement. That doesn't have to always be about gossip, and you can use social media for good. Show, share stories, give people opportunities and things like that. And for me, that has been a great learning experience, and through that, I have been able to open doors for so many young people as well. So I'm very happy to have had this opportunity to do this. I can't say I'm anywhere, as in my head I have a very big vision board. I'm not anywhere, but I'm grateful for the journey so far, and I'm looking forward to.
Could I ask, in your work with Igbo Africa, I'm sure there's those stories that they stand out. Like people have just wowed you with their compassion and their willingness to work for their communities.
Yes. So I keep saying one day when I have a lot of money, I'm gonna travel Africa and just tell these stories.
Yeah.
So amen to that.
Amen.
But I think I have so many stories for Igbo Africa because we have a database of so many young people. But I think for me, maybe I could share two that really stuck out for me.
Yeah.
One is, so I have a friend of mine, well, she's now a friend of mine, who is from Somalia. She's from Mogadishu.
Yeah.
Her name is Ilwad Elman. Ilwad's father.
I know Ilwad Elman.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the father was an activist, and then he was murdered around 1993. So they had to flee and go to Canada for safety, which has been the story of Somalia for the longest time, you know. So when they all turned 18, so they're three sisters, when they all turned 18, their mom told them, now I'm going back to our home country to continue your father's legacy. I have educated you. I have given you, I've helped you become decision makers. So you decide what you want to do. And then you can follow me, or you can stay here and create a life for yourself. So coincidentally, they all decided to follow the mom back.
Okay.
Particularly Ilwad works directly with the mother. So they run this thing called Elman Peace Center.
Yeah.
And they now live in the heart of Mogadishu, which is like a very scary thing for many people.
Yeah.
And at 27, Ilwad has managed to achieve so much, speaking for peace. But for me, I think what stood out the most is the positive image that she gave people of Mogadishu and Somalia.
Yeah.
In my head, and which is what most people have, a certain stereotype about Somalia. But if you spend time with her, you get to learn that there are the positive sides of that. And you can also see what she shares on her social media.
Yeah.
So, she was one of the most impactful stories for Igbo Africa at the time.
And didn't she lose her sister last year in Mogadishu?
Unfortunately, yeah. And I think this is... I feel like it's a risk they were prepared for, but you can never be prepared for death. But it's something they knew that would happen. But the fact that they still want to remain there for me, I think it just blows my mind away.
Yeah,
Because
they were
that
in
commitment
Canada.
I know.
Yeah.
And they're actually citizens of. If they want to go back, they could go back.
Yeah.
But the commitment to want to change Somalia that much that you would actually lose a loved one and still commit to staying there for me. I think that's like the epitome of commitment to change.
And Ilman is 29 years of age, for those who are asking. And she was nominated for a Nobel Prize.
She was, yeah. So she was nominated last year. At 29 years of age and all the work that she has done, I think it was a really well-deserved. I was really wishing she would win.
Okay.
And I'm sure in due time, I'm sure she's going to win. But she was one of the amazing stories we had at Igbo Africa. But we've had so many, people from around the region, from Kenya, from Tanzania, from Somalia, from Botswana, Nigeria. So we've had so many stories, and they're not done. We're not done telling those stories.
Yeah.
There's so many, and more keep coming up each and every day. We just spoke about Wawera. She's an amazing person.
Yeah.
And to achieve what
she's going to be here next Wednesday.
Yes.
No, not this one. Next Wednesday.
Yeah.
She's going to be here.
She's
to share
amazing.
Her story.
I've seen Wawera when she was pretty much starting her journey. So just seeing how far she's grown and all the commitment it has taken to do that, I think for young people, maybe for, people have this perception of millennials and young people that we want things so fast and we want to live their best life instantly and
Yeah.
things like that. But I feel at the core of every young person, if you just have a conversation with them, they actually want to do something purposeful. And so I feel like now that's where the generation miscommunication is. Because these guys are, I'm like, this job is not fulfilling me. You don't understand, because the prior generation was more about, I need to pay rent, and so I feel like they lived very flat lives, like and
They're still
this
alive,
is no
please.
offense to them.
Yeah.
We appreciate they brought us up, but just living the extra life. And I think even for me, my mom was played a huge part in even supporting, and my sister as well, in supporting Iboa to where it is, because even when we were young, my mom used to take us to children's home, so we can learn that everyone does not have the same privilege you have.
True.
So you need to understand early, and whatever you can do, you need to do it to support someone different,
I'm going to ask you one last question,
Yes.
because we're running out of time. If there's one thing that you
Yes.
could tell the youth who are listening right now,
Yes.
what would it be?
I have many things to tell from my experience.
Yes.
But first, is be consistent. So, in whatever you're doing, whether it's for money or for impact or whatever, consistency always pays.
Yeah.
Someone somewhere will always recognize consistency. Secondly, save. I wish I knew this when I was like 22. Man, I would have made very different choices. And it's funny because when you tell a 22-year-old that now,
Yeah.
they're like,
It's like-
no, I have time.
Yeah.
You don't have time. So start saving early. It's very useful. And thirdly, be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Because we live in an age where I see so many people, fall into like depression and mental health issues. But you'd find it's for all the wrong reasons. Just because I'm seeing someone else thriving on Instagram, that's not necessarily their true life.
Yeah.
So just be true to yourself, live your life, set your own goals, work on how to achieve them. And I think we'll be fine. I don't think our generation is that badly off. But I also keep saying I think we're the last, well, not the last, but the generation that needs to change the world. Because there's so much havoc and chaos in the world right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's up to us to decide this is how we want things to go.
Okay.
Even in our own government, we're the guys who are going to fix it. Yeah, we can't keep waiting for these guys to keep creating new opportunities to
stay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mumbi. You have shared a lot of great information, and shout out to all our listeners who are calling. We really can't pick calls because we're running out of time, but we definitely invite you for another session where we can now talk about social enterprise on a larger scale.
Stay with the reggae rhythm. It's the inspiration sent from the king.